It's a motherfucking Sunday. Motherfucking paper. Greg Mike. It's a motherfucking Sunday paper. I am Joanne.
Read all about it. Read all about it. Philadelphia Inquirer. That's what I'm reading this week. Lots of news.
Oh my God. How's Philly?
Philly is one of the great cities of the world. It is.
All right, yeah. It's just the problem is it's populated with idiots.
Well, if you mean Italian and Irish people, then, then it's good that you left the East Coast. It's like the Bronx. It's like Boston. It's a lot of racism, but charming people, loud women. I threw 4 women out of the show on Thursday night.
Yeah, I would go to not the Rose Bowl. I'd go to the Coliseum here, where the Rams were the home team. And when Philly came, first of all, I would say Philadelphia was 75% of the stadium.
Really?
And, yeah, no, like when the typical thing, you're at a stadium, you're at the urinal, and you hear craziness. You're like, oh my God, they scored. I can't believe it. And you come back to your seat and Philly scored.
Yeah.
That was the thunderous stadium shaking, explosion. But yeah, the girls there's a definite tough streak about them for sure.
Yeah, anytime I get on stage and I see a table up front with 4 women and 2 empty wine bottles, I almost want to signal the bouncer right out of the gate, like, we're going to need to remove these women at some point in the next hour.
And they're wearing the Eagles helmets?
They got, overweight women with sports jerseys is really such an I give up look. It's like, I hope you're married because you're untouchable right now.
Oh, boy.
I don't mean the weight. I mean the jerseys. It's just such a sign of I don't give a fuck about myself anymore.
Well, I think it's one of those things. I think men have it too, where it's like, oh God, I'm really nowhere and I've given up. But is there a look for that? In other words, like it's almost like, let me go back on the offensive. You know what I mean? Like, all right,
yeah.
I could do maybe guys, it's the hockey jersey thing.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
We shouldn't speak ill of it because our friend John Sorelli, who's one of the great dudes of all time, and he gets away with it because he's such a big sports fan. He wears different jerseys. If you want to see a good Instagram account, go to...
I don't even know how he does it.
One day he's in Boston with the fucking Wade Boggs jersey, and that's signed, but somehow is vintage.
And he's there at Patriots Day or whatever it's called, where he goes every year for like 35 years or something like that.
Yeah.
To the home game in Fenway.
And then the next day he'll be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the fucking AC/DC jersey. The guy lives a life of somebody who's got a death sentence, like he's got cancer.
We'll go to soccer, and then he has a giant MLS. Like it's as if he goes to each event and he's like, yes, I'll take the $400 home jersey. Like at every event.
Yes.
And by the way, it is not just mainstream sports. Then, I'm not making any of this up. Then all of a sudden, he's at the Kentucky Derby. And what's that home jersey? Slave owner. He's wearing an outfit that looks like he should be on the porch of the plantation.
No. Is that true?
Oh, he dresses like if he was a woman, he'd have the big bonnet on. Yes, he has maybe a bow tie, like a pop. What's it called? What kind of suit is it? The lightest summer suit. I forget.
A seersucker.
No, it's not flat. It's not. I'm so tired right now. Anyway, Poplin, whatever the fuck it is. Anyway. He's walking around like he's a Southern gentleman.
And then that night, he's seeing Patty Griffin in concert in Nashville, and there's a picture of him backstage with her.
I don't know what
he's living the life, man. He's living the life.
Does he have some credit card deal that only 10 people have, where it's like, go to every event dressed as the person on stage?
He should be sponsored by somebody. But in college, when credit cards were not given to young people until the year we started college, and then you went to the student union, and there were these fucking parasites that were there signing. They'd give you like a Frisbee if you signed up for a credit card. And I didn't really use mine. Sorelli had hundreds of CDs in his apartment.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. And he ran up so much credit card debt in college.
All right, John, you didn't give it. I interrupted you. John Cirilli. 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 That's his name. And what's his handle or whatever the fuck you call it on here? I think it might just be Cirilli.
I haven't seen the guy in a while. I'm due.
And let's see. Okay, just putting it out there. Okay, this was 18 hours. 18 hours ago. There he is.
He's got the Mets jersey with 42. I thought 42 was Jackie Robinson.
Oh yeah, it was a big dedication or whatever to him there.
But
yeah,
he didn't play for the Mets.
There he is. I don't know. I'm not going to get into a sport thing with you. And then here he is in Boston.
Yeah.
And this was 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago. So anyway, it's pretty interesting, and you keep tabs on all the big events.
Well, speaking of our college buddies, I'm in Philly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it a different jersey that day in Fenway?
Oh my God, he's got the yellow Boston jersey.
When
was
that?
there
Was that
a
a
yellow
thing?
Boston Red Sox jersey?
I don't even know what that is. Here's the Mets thing, by the way, and then we'll finish with Cirilli. 42. I don't know what one of the greatest honors to the legendary Jackie Robinson is at Citi Field. I don't know why. I mean, he's in every stadium. You don't need to be. But in case you're done with Jackie Robinson, there's a Darryl Strawberry tribute right there.
Wow. With a line of Coke right on the jersey.
Giant pile of cocaine right on it. All right.
So speaking of college buddies, I'm in Philly. So last night I went out with Dan Brickner and his lovely wife Carolyn, and we went to.
They're great.
Yeah, they're great.
Not from Philly, from South Jersey. Go ahead.
South Jersey, and she's a riot. She always cracks me up. I think she's just like a tough Irish broad from Jersey, and
Yeah. Dad's a
so-
judge, so Brickner gets a father-in-law who's a judge.
Right. He's
I think Dad's a
93.
judge.
He's 93, and I asked about him, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he still gets calls for work. He still works for some of his friends."
Just like us.
Yeah. And so I'm on stage, and I pointed him out, and he's waiting online to get in, and he realizes the couple online in front of him is his partner at his real estate firm. And he didn't know Dan was going to the show, but the guy happens to be a fan of mine on his own. So he's there with his wife. And so they're at different tables. And I don't know this at the time.
Okay.
So I asked the audience, has anybody done the ancestry DNA? And so this the guy raises his hand. His wife raises her hand. And I said, did you discover anything? And she goes, yeah, we did. We discovered that I have a half brother that our father never told us about. Because if you go on Ancestry, it will tell you you're a 50% match with somebody, meaning you share a parent.
Wow.
So
Apparently.
so this guy, I don't know how they reached out to each other, and they were kind of in denial about it. Like, I don't know if he's really our brother. The guy is kind of a loser, I guess, and maybe has some mental illness. But grew up an orphan. Like the mother, it turns out the mother he had sex with some chick on the Jersey Shore. She went to a convent and had the baby there and left it. And then the kid grew up an orphan. So now they all meet up at a diner in Jersey, and they're thinking, this guy's not really our brother. They see him. It's a clone. Her and the brother standing there, and he looks exactly like him. They all burst out crying. And I was like, that must have been such a great moment, because this guy's been an orphan his whole life. He's probably been afraid, like, oh, what if, there's always that irrational fear, like, what if I meet my original family and they reject me? Well, he met his original family, and they rejected him. They were they were like, you're kind of an asshole. We don't want to go further with this relationship.
What?
And this is all coming out, and Dan's watching this, and it's his partner. He didn't know any of this shit.
That's
I think he knew a little bit of it, but he didn't know the whole story.
That's really funny. Wow.
Yeah.
And
So-
all this took place live on stage.
On the Friday night late show. Or no, early show. And
Wow.
and then I told stories about Brickner. I told a story about how I met Dan the first night freshman year, and we snorted crank all night. And kind of were just good friends ever since.
So what is crank?
It's like speed.
Like you've just ground up just speed pills?
I don't know. He had it.
Oh, so it's a good Philly crank. All right.
Well,
All right, that's good.
we got to school, and I check into my room, and I meet Dan, and Dan's like, "Oh, I got to introduce you to this other guy," and so we walk up to the door, and the door says Chris Greenleaf on it. And I go, that's weird because I lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey from ages 4 to 6. And I had a best friend who lived next door named Chris Greenleaf who had jet blonde hair, and I haven't seen him since. Knock on the door opens, surfer dude, long blonde hair. I go, Chris Greenleaf? He goes, yeah. I go, Cherry Hill, New Jersey? He's like, yeah. I go, Greg Fitzsimmons. He goes, get the fuck out of here. And so he snorted crank with us that night. And then
just right to crank. Say a third sentence.
And then I'll just say he got thrown out of school freshman year. I won't say why, because apparently he whatever. I don't want to put out somebody's business. But him and Brickner were inseparable freshman year.
Amazing. You two made it, and poor Chris gets shit canned.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I guess kids today don't like. There were a lot of like, what? You're here? Because there was, there's no way to keep tabs on people.
Yeah. Right.
So there was like a lot of great surprises.
Yeah. And then I didn't see him again for another 15 years. And then I walk into Comedy Central for a meeting. He's working at Comedy Central.
No.
Yeah. I see him fucking I'm like, what are you doing here?
Dude, be you, Chris? Yeah. Then we did crank.
Yeah. And then Thursday night, our buddy Tom O'Neill is in Philly, living with his mother. Tom is the author of Chaos, a New York Times bestseller, and he lives with his mother in a nursing home several months of the year.
Well, this is not a defense of him. It makes it worse. But by design, he can't wait to leave Los Angeles, drive there. By the way, in my mother's car, you know that, right?
Uh-huh.
Drives there in my mother's car because he can't wait to get to the home.
Yeah.
That his mom lives in I don't know if it's assisted living. I don't think, whatever. But
I think it's assisted living, yeah.
But they have a bar, and you're not allowed to tip. And the an old guy gets on the piano every night.
And the drinks are like
in heaven.
They're like $3 drinks, and of course he's become best friends with the bartender, so he gets nice heavy pours. And
he only spends about $45 to $50 a night.
Meanwhile, he's out at a comedy club with me, and then dragging the virus back into the nursing home. Yes,
of course.
So he comes down to the show, and that was the show where I threw the 4 women out. And it was a bad show. It did not go well. It was one of those shows where I was embarrassed to have friends in the audience. And so he mentions something about that it didn't go that well on a group text. And then you very nicely put an image of 9/11 in the text chain.
Well, someone goes, by the way, you're the only one who seemed to get it, or everyone thought it was too mean. Someone's like, is there any video of Greg's set? And I just, I just sent 9/11 footage. But the best part was the YouTube clip I found was just the Twin Towers smoking, and then the words, no, 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 written across it.
Oh, I just to see the pity in their eyes. Because the thing is, if you live in Los Angeles with a bunch of friends, it's almost like an episode of Seinfeld where you never see Seinfeld on the road. He just he's doing great, and then he gets a suitcase and he leaves and he comes back, and everybody just thinks, oh, he probably had a big fucking crowd. It was fun. And then that's the image people might have of me in LA. And then for him to see an ugly show on the road, it made me feel like, oh, there was such pity in his eyes. Like, oh my God, you're away from home and you're alone in a hotel, and then you get 4 drunken fucking whores in the front. What a life you live, Greg. I thought it was so much better than this.
Wait, I will say, I didn't know. Did they write about? I thought Tom said it was really good.
No, it was a good show until the women started
I
talking,
just did the
and I threw them
9/11
out.
saying that would be your typical set. But I on the text chain, I don't think anyone was dissing your set.
No, it wasn't my best set. Wasn't my
I
best
didn't
set.
know that.
But
Well,
then
it's
I
fucking
made up
Philly,
for
man.
it.
Blame Philly.
No, I can't. This is my second favorite club in the country. Greatest fucking crowds. And then last night, I lit it up. 2 shows. I came back. I came
for
back.
you.
If you ever want to have a good show, have a bad show. And then the next one is going to be fucking great.
Also, in Philly, go to the Race Humor. They eat it up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is there a joke? I was trying to think that I wanted to check, my family origin and all that, and I sent it to 22andMe because my whole family's short a chromosome. No? Something there.
I wanted to do one that said, this ancestor DNA. It's great. It's like $100, and they look up your family history, going back generations, and for an extra $50, they'll stop right before they hit black.
Philly. Bring it up in Philly.
That would kill in Philly.
You'll love it.
Because ultimately, doesn't it all end up at black eventually?
I don't know how far back this stuff goes. That's a good question. How far back does 23andMe go?
This guy last night said he showed up part Neanderthal. And I was like, I never heard that before.
Yeah, but that was in like 1955.
Yeah, that's Philly.
Yeah. So
otherwise,
what are you doing
Neanderthal,
in Philly?
otherwise known as Italian.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you doing in Philly? You getting out? You gonna go look at some cheesesteak fucking places, Caddy Corner, whatever those things are?
No, I got tonight. I got my high school friend driving down from New York with his wife.
Whoa!
So they're
pressure.
going to come to the show. We're going to go to dinner in between shows. So it's been a very social weekend, which I don't always like because I can lose my focus a little bit. Everybody comes down there like Tom's like, all right, so tomorrow, man, why don't you get a rent a car and come down to Cape May, which is 2 hours away. It's like, what do you think this is? People think I'm on vacation. And Brickner's like, yeah, I got us a reservation between shows at this sushi place. I'm like, is it near the club? He's like, nah, it's like 20 minutes away. Oh, perfect. That works out good for me. I don't have to focus at all on my late show.
You tell Tom that. What are you talking about? I have to talk into a Zoom tomorrow about my set last night. I don't have time for that.
Right. So what are you doing? You're going to Seattle?
Yeah. So the oldest, Sophie, is considering UW, University of Washington. So tomorrow morning, really early, flying to Seattle. We're gonna do Seattle and University of Washington over 2 days, and then we'll come back like late Monday night. She has school, so I can't believe they're still trying in high school. I'm like, what are you doing? Like she was some math problem. It's like, who cares? Just write any numbers. You're already in colleges. That's
good. JoJo's completely given up, I think. Although her grades are fine, but I get the sense she doesn't give a shit. It is so weird when we watch our daughters who were born 2 weeks apart. We want them to learn, but like I look back at my high school, I didn't learn shit, and I feel like she's wasting her life, and it's not going to turn out all right. It's so hard to let go of that and just realize like, no, it doesn't really matter that much.
I guess. Yeah, we had no trouble letting go. There's a lot of pressure on them, though. And then what a crazy senior year. I mean, so they're going back, what, next week?
Optional. I don't think JoJo's going to do it. I think it's optional classes.
As a parent, I shouldn't admit that I don't know if she's going back or not.
Yeah. Knowing Sophie, she's going to go back.
Maybe. We'll see. But, I mean, JoJo's there working all the time.
No, she doesn't work at the school. She works at a daycare center.
But isn't it right there?
No. It's up
I thought it was that one.
No. She used to work at that one while school was in. She would do one period a day. She'd go in and hold the babies of the teachers and the students. And then it's so funny because there'd be like girls she's in class with that she's fucking babysitting for the next period.
But it also sounded like the babies of the teachers and the students who slept together. It's a full nursery.
She has had teachers whose babies she watches.
All right.
Isn't that weird?
I don't know. What's so weird about that?
Well, it's a good grade. It's a guaranteed good grade, I would think.
Oh, yeah. The old drop the baby ploy.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I see it now.
No, listen, my physics grade should be good because I noticed when I dropped your baby, she fell very fast to the ground.
I'm not great with fractions, but what would you say? 1 out of 9 times I drop a baby I hold? I don't know. I can't convert that to percentage, but it's about 1 in 9. And let's just say there's over 10 babies in there, and one of them's yours.
Now, here with chemistry, if I am changing the baby and I use a lotion that has an acid in it, all right, well, have fun in Seattle, man. That's another great city.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Museum of Pop Culture. Is that what it's called? You did Seattle. I remember you telling me about it. You went to like a pinball museum and all this stuff.
There's
right?
a pinball museum, and there's also the Jimi Hendrix Museum, which is really cool.
That trip seems like it would be a little bit more about me, but I'll try to.
Right.
I'll float it by her.
Did you ever read The Boys in the Boat?
No.
It's set in Seattle back in the 1930s. It's about the Olympic crew that went to Munich and for the Olympics, and it's a fucking amazing book. It might have won some big awards, but yeah, read that. But it's all about Seattle back then was fucking got hit hard by the Depression. It was bad.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing I haven't been there because out of high school I had people go there right away. So that's like, half a century ago. And like, there's no, I finally did Portland, but it's real. Like, I was obsessed with driving across there. I've driven across the country like probably 8 or 9 times. Northwest, always this weird sort of, I never got to it. So I'm psyched to get up there.
Shout out to John Landini, who did that great song today, which was fun. Logo from Craig Godet.
I like that song a lot.
Yeah, and I like how you thought it was over, and then there was a little Joanne mention at the end.
Well, you emailed it to me, so I knew. I'm like, oh, he forgot to turn off his mic because you could see the seconds counting down, and there was still about 8 seconds. I'm like, oh, and then there was a nice little ending.
Yeah. Craig Godet did the logo.
Uh-huh.
Very cool logo. And should we get to some corrections?
I guess. I don't think we had any, but let's see what people think they're correcting.
It seems like nitpicking, but Stephen Blackwood said, not a correction, but a clarification. When reading one of your letters, you correctly said that SF was a would-be Ford assassin. Who's SF?
Oh, Squeaky Fromm.
Squeaky Fromm. Why SF, Stephen Blackwood? You then asked if she was in the PLO. Mike said she was a Manson girl. Since this occurred in 1975, you were probably thinking of the SLO, the Sudanese Liberation Army. Love the show, as usual. Yeah.
Maybe.
I think
might have been, but I don't know if she was in the SLO. Wasn't that Hearst?
I think that was Hearst.
Yeah, no, Hearst was. I'm going to say confidently, and I might be wrong, but I don't know if Squeaky was. I don't know if SF was.
Well, maybe if Chris Denman, our producer, is not taking a shit because apparently he's got some kind of stomach flu, maybe he can look that up for us. Since Stephen Blackwood, while correcting us, is saying, I think. Well, how about some hard research?
Chris, why don't you just Google, was SF in the SLO? I'm sure it'll spell it all out for us.
All right. Eric Anderson said, I'm sure you'll get this 800 times, but it was hilarious when Greg, about 45 seconds after telling the BB gun story for the umpteenth time, accused Mike of retelling a story that we hadn't heard yet.
Woo! Gaffigan and Todd Barry's story. I love it.
It was a great story.
I mean, those two, because...
But you had told that story before.
Look at you. I don't know. Well, now you're retelling your accusation story of my Todd Barry Gaffigan story.
Right.
But they really are, especially when they're uncomfortable and really out of place, they have a very special look about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you open the door and they're like, huh? Like they should have had crayons and stuff.
Yeah. Todd Barry meeting a stranger for the first time there's no eye contact.
he in The Wrestler was so good. I can't believe we're not seeing him in everything. Like as
I know,
the
I know.
quirky,
Yep.
like character actor. Why not?
I've thought about that since I first knew Todd Barry in New York. I thought this guy is going to be a sitcom star, not a lead. He's going to be like a second banana, fun guy on a. But I don't know that he ever wanted that. He never moved to L.A., and I don't think he really cared about doing sitcoms. But you're right. I mean, films are so fucking hard, though, to get into. Same thing with Judah Friedlander.
I only know any of these guys because of you. You were a huge champion of him out of the gate.
Oh, yeah. I love Todd. But I mean, you look at Judah Friedlander, who did that amazing movie about was it R. Crumb?
Yes.
He was he was fucking amazing, and I thought this guy's gonna have such a big career. And then he did have a great career in TV, but I saw him as a guy who was going to be doing a lot of like indie films.
Also, Todd Barry has this like Peter Lorre. Remember, like
yeah.
He has this real Peter Lorre magnetism to him where you're like, what a weirdo that I can't take my eyes off of. Like, he's very, very interesting,
Yeah. Well, he's done his own thing. He's one of those guys I respect because he's lived his career exactly the way he wanted to, and he's got a nice big audience for himself. And I got to get him back on the podcast. It's been a while.
Totally.
Also, we got Barb said, I've never heard Mike's story about the Gaffigan and Barry, but I've heard Greg's BB gun story at least 4 times now.
I guess that's what umpteenth means.
And then she goes on to say, Greg makes me crazy. I got to read her whole thing. I realize that I listen to Fitzdog Radio and Sunday Papers, but that still is at least 2 times more than I should have heard that story. I love hate listen to you guys. I adore Mike. Greg makes me crazy. I swear it's like listening to my own Boston Irish brother. Can't stand him, but love him. Please keep up the good work. I look forward to this every Sunday. Much thanks.
What's so funny is you forwarding me this. I adore Mike. Greg makes me crazy. You're like, yep, send.
Oh, no. I feel a total... as people know, I get the emails and then I send them to Mike. But I feel like there should be full disclosure. You need to see my hate mail as well. Auntie Rin said, just listen to your latest podcast and you were talking about buying Coinbase and it being a joke and whatnot, but I think you mixed up Coinbase and Dogecoin. There's 2 different unrelated things happening. Dogebase, D-O-G-E coin. Coinbase.
Don't correct us. We don't care.
Coinbase, the exchange, went public. Dogecoin, the cryptocurrency, surged. At this point, I would invest in Coinbase since Doge fluctuates based on Elon Musk's tweets. P.S. Don't tell Mike to invest in crypto. I don't want my own portfolio to crash and burn.
Well, too late. So I'm in that GBTC or whatever. I'm in the main one, the easy one. The newbie, the fucking regular dude can buy into Bitcoin, and the headlines this week, it plummeted, by the way, and the headlines this week were it's probably going to tank because all these other available outlets, not the right word, are coming, the funds, ETFs and stuff, are coming available that allow you to buy Bitcoin kind of on the side,
Yeah.
not kind of like an index fund of Bitcoin, but who knows? I don't even know. I've given up. I mean, this stock market, I thought this was the week we would start diving, and it tried to, but there's nothing stopping people.
Mike, the stock market's not diving. It's going to go up for 2 years. Just
I don't
buy
know
some
if
index
you're
funds,
right
sit
about
back,
that.
play some golf, and just fucking relax. We'll
Maybe
get to
the whitest sentence ever uttered. Go ahead.
Speaking of white, how's your lawn, people? How is your lawn?
White.
Mine is a dramatic improvement from last year, thanks to our new sponsor, Sunday. Here's what it does. I can't believe I'm excited about my lawn. Am I getting that old? But I don't think it's an age thing. I just think it's like I had given up because nothing was growing. And then it's like a miracle. I get this Sunday, they an evaluation of your lawn based on aerial photographs, location, climate, and they send you the exact lawn care product that is custom made for your lawn.
Pre-mixed. It's a bag. You just twist it onto your hose.
It's so easy. It controls weeds, removes pests. And I got dogs. And what's nice is the chemicals, they don't use chemicals. It's all ingredients that are safe for you. Granted, I'm sick of my dogs, but this is not the way I want them to go. Face down in a bush with some fucking cyanide weed killer in their nose. This stuff is all safe.
Put it on your dog. At least your dog... That one little fucker, at least if he was green, he'd be amusing.
But look, making a lot. It's like during the pandemic, I have been so tested by the pandemic of my character of what are you going to do new, you've got all this time, are you going to do new things? And this is one of the things I feel good about. Like, yes, I'm going to take on my lawn. And you know what it takes? 15 minutes. I do it on Sunday because the product's called Sunday. And it's a piece of cake. How's your mom's lawn?
Coming along. You know, the weird thing out here is, can you recall the last time it rained?
For 10 minutes about 4 weeks ago.
And then how many days this year? Like 3? Like,
yeah. Now we're in a drought again. Oh,
so by the way, we'll get back. But this is even more important but related in a news story. I guess there's some index about they test the moisture in grass or whatever. Maybe we talked about it last week. It's not good. So anyway, we're in a drought, and despite that, my mom's lawn, because you're also watering it with that pouch on there, and then they tell you it's a no-brainer, take it out. So hers has started, and she's shocked. She's a New Yorker, and she's just like, it doesn't rain here. This is ridiculous. And she's using less water because of this stuff.
So listen, it's going to turn you into a competent gardener. Here's how you do it. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/papers to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at getsunday.com/papers. Don't forget, support our sponsors. It's springtime. Tour dates tonight, which is the 25th of April. I will be at the Brea Improv for one show, one special pop-up show.
When do you get back here?
I get back at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, and then I will make love to my wife, walk my dog, take a shower, and drive to Brea.
Maybe put the shower first. Just looking out for Erin, but okay.
Right. I am flying coach.
Jeez. Yeah. All right. What are you flying?
Then, flying American. Every seat was taken. Flying out. Airports are jammed again. Long lines, everything. It's fully back on.
Tomorrow morning at 7:02 a.m. we board a Delta flight, and I actually put 2 seats in together in a row. There's 3 seats on each side of the aisle, and it popped us apart, and middle seat empty.
Yeah, middle seats for Delta are empty until the end of this month. I think in May they're going to start filling the middle seats on Delta.
Next week.
And this weekend I'll be in Kansas City at the Kansas City Comedy Club. That's April 29th through May 1st. Get tickets at fitzdog.com. It's only 50% capacity, so make sure you get tickets because the Philly shows are selling out, and I don't want my good friends from the podcast to miss out. All right, Mike, do you have a paper to crinkle?
Oh, my God, I don't.
I don't either. Get a piece of paper. All right, good.
All right, hold on. Let me get a piece of paper. Boy, is this paper going to go through it today.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
There it is. Legal pad.
Nice. By the way, we got a special guest coming up in a little bit. We announced the contest last week for the birthday book analysis.
Yeah.
And we picked a winner. We got hundreds, literally hundreds. I didn't for you any of these of people wrote in asking to be the birthday person, and we'll see how it goes with him. If it goes well, maybe we'll do it again.
I'm gonna read a random date, and then his date. I don't know which order, and then He's going to tell us which one was closer to his profile.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, front page.
Oh, boy. Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner. Go ahead.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Because I know her. Caitlyn Jenner announces the run for California governor. You know, they couldn't figure out if this was a joke or not. Yeah. Former Olympic gold medalist and reality star Caitlyn Jenner announced her candidacy for California governor. Jenner, who's 71, would be running as a Republican, although she switches parties, if you know what I mean. So she's not very loyal. But she wrote that she can end the current governor, Gavin Newsom's, quote, disastrous time as governor. I'm in, Jenner wrote on her website. Quote, for the past decade, we have seen the glimmer of the Golden State reduced by one-party rule that places politics over progress and special interests over people. Sacramento needs an honest leader who has committed vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
to get out of it.
Right.
No, the Sacramento needs an honest leader with a clear vision.
If she had such clear vision, how'd she hit that fucking motorist?
That is true. Yes, so.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know about Caitlyn as a leader. I mean, I don't know if you've seen a show called Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She is the least leader-ish person in that house. She got fucking stomped on.
She couldn't even keep up with them.
Right. Imagine if there's anybody in the state Senate who has the balls of a Kim Kardashian or a Khloe Kardashian or a Kate. What's the daughter's name? The other Jenner?
Sophie, who's Caitlyn Jenner's daughter's names? What are the names? There's two, aren't there?
The one named Jenner.
Who's named Jenner? Kylie?
Oh, Kylie.
Yeah.
Kylie. Yeah. All of them are worth hundreds of millions.
Okay. And which Shakespeare play has a Danish king? Okay, good. You got the Kardashians, but you don't know Shakespeare. Okay, we're done. There is no pin. No, I'm in a podcast that's listened to by hundreds of people.
Tell her I said congratulations on her Investopedia. She's doing really well.
She left. All right, go ahead. She knows the answers to the Kardashian. I mean, go ahead. I can't even. Yeah. By the way, going to either Michigan or UW. Good luck with that.
Oh, that was Sophie. I didn't know the Sophie. All right.
Yeah,
she's not in the contest.
Yeah, so she can't even keep up with them. But listen, so am I allowed? All right, she would be the first female governor. Am I allowed to ask if there will be an asterisk next to that statistic?
I don't think in our culture we asterisk people who become trans.
Okay. So
can you say trans?
You can say trans, I think. So
I don't think you can say tran-e should never be said. That's very offensive.
Okay.
But trans.
Can you put a transterisk next to her name? All right. This is real though. I'm not even trying to be funny here. Let's say a few years from now, right? A cis woman is elected. Do you know what I mean by a cis woman?
Yeah, a person who is born into the gender that they identify with.
No. It's someone who's born into the physical. They do identify as how they were born physically.
That's what I just said.
Yours was a little different, actually. But anyway, I can't even remember what you said.
Listen to two middle-aged white guys stumbling over fucking semantics about...
Okay. Right, of course. Well, no. The really old show would be like, let's say a real woman's elected. So anyway, let's say a few years from now, a cis woman is elected. Does she not get to claim that honor of being the first female governor of California?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No. Caitlyn Jenner is a woman. She has undergone a transformation, and do we know if she had the genital removal?
I think she did. I mean, I've worked with her twice. I've talked to her about it. I believe so.
Okay.
But I don't know.
You've talked to her about it, and it didn't stick in your mind what she said? I would think.
It's very. There's a lot going on when you're talking to her. It's very distracting.
Yeah.
So.
She's from Tarrytown, New York, by the way, my hometown.
She also grew up, I think, in Chappaqua for a little bit, maybe. Or
Yeah,
Bedford,
I think she moved at some point.
Yeah,
not
her
before
dad had
capturing all the records at the high school.
Her dad had a tree trimming service or whatever it was.
Well,
'Cause
that's
we
what I'm
had up
asking. Did she have her tree trimmed?
Well, there you go. I have to say, God, this is probably wrong, but I think that's, I think I think there should be an asterisk. An asterisk isn't a negative thing always.
You're about to get your ass canceled, Mike.
You could put an asterisk next to some sports record that says that, like, it was despite playing less games, this person shattered record. Like, it can be a positive thing also.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna let me hang myself. But honestly, so some cis woman is elected. I don't know. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner had benefits that I think feminist scholars would agree gave her a leg up. I'm not trying to be funny as I say any of this.
Wait, what's the advantage of being...
She was a super male aggro athlete.
And that helps her become a governor?
Well, this fucking retarded state, Ronald Reagan.
And now you're saying
was
retarded on top of it.
Oh, sorry, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, I'm only going to get in more trouble. But stupid Ronald Reagan was just a dumb actor who got elected governor, and then he got elected president and began the downhill of this country.
Well, how about Schwarzenegger? Same thing. Aggro actor, Republican.
Athlete.
Was he Republican? Yeah, he was.
I believe he was.
Yeah, he was. Because he was
and-
married to a Kennedy.
Yeah, very shady recall also, which is similar to this.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on with the Capitol rioter?
Oh, yeah, I thought this was interesting. All right, news story. Okay, I guess I'm the only one thinking it's a little weird that Caitlyn Jenner will claim the title of first female governor of California when it was a circuitous route. Let's at least admit that.
Circuitous?
To that title.
Did
Huh?
you say circuitous?
It's a circus. Circuitous?
It's circuitous.
I don't like that word. Circuitous. I like that. All right, I'm flustered. As many cis males get when they talk about this. All right. Capitol rioter was arrested after being turned in by a match on online dating app Bumble.
I love it.
The Justice Department has charged the Capitol rioter who was turned in by someone he matched with on the dating app Bumble after he bragged about his exploits on January 6th. According to documents, 1 week after the attack, Robert Chapman... Oh, by the way, this guy's from Carmel, New York.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is where my family lives, above New York. Yeah. Robert Chapman of New York told one of his Bumble matches that, quote, I did storm the Capitol, and said that he, quote, made it all the way into Statuary Hall. He also claimed that he was interviewed by members of the media. The other Bumble user, this woman he matched with, said, quote, we are not a match. And then he responded, I suppose so. I suppose not.
Yeah.
And then she reported him. She screen grabbed their conversation and reported him.
Wow. Well, that's the thing about these guys is they're proud of it. And the women, they're proud of it. They think that they... And then I went back, and I should actually be talking about this in the entertainment section, but last night I took... couple hits of a vape pen, and then I watched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I'd never seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington before.
Wow,
with
that's
Jimmy
weird.
Stewart. I know, one of the classic, directed by.
No, I haven't seen it either. It's weird.
Oh, really?
That's what you do alone in Philadelphia, like in 2021. It's okay.
What? Go back and watch one of the greatest movies ever made? That's weird.
Well, you're in the middle of binging stuff and everything. All right, go ahead.
And it's directed by, what's his name? The guy that did It's a Wonderful Life.
Capra.
Yeah, Frank Capra. And it is all about, the biggest symbol of the movie is the Capitol. And it made me so angry because he is this aw shucks kind of guy who comes to Washington full of ideals, and the Capitol represents everything that America means to him, and so they keep showing it in the background, and he's extolling like the purity of the vision of the founding fathers and creating the Capitol, and then I think about these fucking lug nut camouflage wearing mulleted pickup truck driving douchebags going in there, and they're proud of it now. Fuck you. I hope they send those motherfuckers away for 100 years each.
Yeah, it's flagrant, man. It's super bad. So what's confusing about this story, though, is he had done interviews, and I think it was on his Facebook also. So, like, how does it come down to a Bumble user reporting them?
Right.
Why didn't they already have them?
Right.
You have to first find out he likes long walks on the beach and wants to hook up on the first date. That's what it takes?
Yeah. I like long walks on the reflecting pool.
I like long walks on the way to the Senate chamber. Oh, my God.
Whores.
Oh, wait.
Whores.
Hold on. Oh, it's not a new section. Go ahead. Sorry, whores.
Whores. Manhattan's district attorney announced Wednesday that his office will no longer prosecute prostitution and unlicensed massage under a new policy that's believed to be the first of its kind in New York. Cyrus Vance Jr., who appeared virtually in Manhattan criminal court to request the dismissal of more than 900 such cases dating back to the 1970s. So somebody got a hand job in the 70s at some Jack Shack down in Soho, and he's been waiting for 50 years to get sentenced? Jesus Christ.
It sounds like they already didn't give a shit.
Yeah. He moved to dismiss another 5,000 cases related to the state's controversial anti-loitering statute, which, by the way, I don't know if you know about that statute. It was very controversial. Also, that came about in the 70s, and it was meant to discourage prostitution, but it was used really almost exclusively to harass transsexuals that were hanging around Greenwich Village, calling them prostitutes, stop and frisk. Maybe they just wanted to frisk the transsexuals. I don't know. But so those people are all freed now, too.
I think it's a ploy. Cuomo's going to be like, all right, you see, all those ladies I touched in my office, I was paying them. So technically they're whores. And that's no longer
good.
a law.
That's good. He's always thinking ahead.
He is. He has definitely put this on the top of the pile on his desk. He signed it right away.
Well, let me ask you this then. If you go to New York, would you go get a massage with a happy ending now that it's legal?
That's a loaded question, Greg. There's so many other factors. Isn't there sex trafficking?
You mean whether or not the women were brought in from another country?
I guess that shouldn't be my first response. The answer is no.
Dad, what are you doing in the closet? I'm talking about getting hand jobs in New York. It's legal now.
So before we get on the plane to go to college at this like amazing rite of passage as a father-daughter, can I just talk about these hand jobs in New York City?
Now, I won't get it. If she's from China, I won't do it.
Wait, hold on, miss. Are you here under your own volition?
Did you get here on a sealed tanker, or are you from upstate and just had daddy issues?
That's all that it is that leads to it. Oh boy. All right,
let's talk about our everybody's favorite broadcaster, Tucker Carlson. Turns out, Mike, he's a little racist. His college yearbook talks about
his dad.
He went to Trinity College, and I guess that he was part of the Dan White Society, who, of course, was the man who in 1978 murdered San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and City Supervisor Harvey Milk, California's first openly gay elected official, and Tucker joined his society. He also was affiliated with the Jesse Helms Foundation, named after North Carolina's longtime anti-gay, anti-civil rights senator.
it's like these are like not. These are pretty far down the list of the worst things that you can say about Tucker. You know, what's his name? John Oliver did a little bit of a deep dive on Tucker, and he said it. He's like, why give him any attention? Why potentially raise his profile by doing this? He's like, because it's actually serious, and he has such a large audience, and there's people asking him to run for president.
I could see that. I mean, he has gotten, I mean, he was always bad, but he is really fucking doubling down on the racist stuff lately. Just in the last year, it's been insane.
Well, you know, listen, in a lawsuit, they had to define his show as entertainment and not news. That's how they got out of a lawsuit. And so that is what it is. He's entertainment. He's a buffoon, and he cheats like crazy. Like just turn him on. And this is the and I don't watch him a lot. I probably haven't watched him in like 4 months. But when the defund the police thing, like I was like, all right, I wonder what Fox News is saying. Like, you know, the news is blowing up that day during Black Lives Matter and everything. And so this is what he does from the like 4 shows I watched around that time. He takes a premise, he defines it. He makes this straw man argument. He defines it in the most extreme, fear-inducing way, and then rails against it. So with defund the police, I am not even joking. This is what he said. Oh, defund the police. That's a good idea. So there's no police. Okay, so that's sentence 1.
Right.
So that's only in his mind, that defund the police means there's no police. And he goes, so there's no police. He goes, so when no joke, I'm making none of this up. So when your husband's away on a business trip and you're alone, and they come for you, and he goes, and they will come for you, to rape you. He's like, you're gonna pick up the phone and call, and there will be no answer. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened within 6 sentences?
Right. And define they, because on Fox News, they only means one thing.
No, of course. A lot of people talked about that.
Yeah.
He's just, and you know what? He's smarter than that. I'm not saying he's better than that.
No, that's why he has so much pull, because he has all the affectations of a real broadcaster. He has like the gravitas of an intellectual, and he has like the good breeding of a fucking moneyed white male. And so people just hear it and they go with it. And he's a fucking, anyway, listen.
His dad was a dirtbag, sexist, racist reporter.
Yeah, he was in that documentary about the transsexual woman that ended up selling cars.
Yes.
Did you see that? What was that called?
Something in the car. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
That was really good. But yeah, his father was featured prominently in that, and he was a real piece of garbage.
And well, he's most known for then he attacked Renee Richards. Speaking of this Caitlyn Jenner trans issue, he attacked her for playing women's tennis. Which actually we have a story about later. All right, what do we got?
So listen, we got a very big moment here. This is the first time we've had a listener on the show, and he is our first birthday book entry. We read Mike's birthday description in this. What's this book called?
It's called, Greg, The Secret Language of Birthdays, and people I think it's incredibly accurate. And then I had read the viewer mail where people are enraged because, unlike most horoscopes, this one doesn't shy away from being negative and critical.
Yes, that's why we like it, and that's why we asked you if you'd be willing to come on the show and have us read first. Well, let's let him in first, and then we'll do it.
This is a big moment for our podcast.
Okay. Joining us right now. Let me see if I can get him on the screen.
All right, he has a Yoda screensaver.
Hopefully he can appear before us. His name is Mike McDonald. Welcome, Mike McDonald.
Hey, guys.
I can't hear you very well. What do you want?
Just on my tablet here. Let me see here. If I can make the audio better. 1 second.
Okay. Well, Michael is a guy who stood out of all the people that wrote in because his description of himself was, I'm a proud gay, gun-toting liberal artist from Minnesota, currently living about 10 blocks from where George Floyd was killed. So a lot of boxes checked.
There's a lot going on there in that bio.
Yes.
Well, I didn't think that you guys were going to actually read the email part.
Oh.
Well, I think you sound like somebody I want to get to know. You sound like an
all good.
guy. So what's it like being a gun-toting liberal? How does that break down?
A gun toting. I mean, I think what it really is, the reason I did say that is I think it's, we live in such a black and white type of a society. But most things are nuanced. Most things are gray. Like, it's nice to be able to have it if you do need it, but that doesn't mean that I go into a Chipotle with an AR hanging over my back. You know what I mean?
What kind of gun do you have?
A paint
big
gun.
ones, medium-sized ones, and small ones.
A paint gun.
I know what he means though, because kind of like that, it's not all something or all the other. It's kind of like your camouflage vest. You're not all in on the camouflage.
That's right. The sleeves.
Designer camo.
Yeah. So they're not going to see, the deer won't see you unless you move your arms.
Don't move your arms when you have a camo vest on.
Overpriced cologne.
And now let's talk about your artwork. You're an abstract impressionist, I guess?
Yep.
No, those are portraits. He just sucks at it.
He takes a lot of acid before he does portraits.
Yeah.
And you're gay.
Yep. By all accounts.
See the camouflage vest, Greg.
That's not gay, is it? A camouflage vest?
I don't know.
No.
It was an easy joke.
So is Minneapolis a pretty active gay community, or is there a lot of social activities?
There's enough. I would say that's not. It's not like a gay destination.
Right.
It's friendly and accepting. I'm not a big fan of Minnesota in general, but I absolutely love Minneapolis.
Right. I think people say that about Austin and Texas, and people say that about what's the town in Wisconsin that people like?
Yeah, on the lake. Whatchamacallit? University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, where the university is. All right.
Chris Farley.
All right. So listen, we're excited that you wrote in. Thanks for being a part of this. It's very nice of you. We'd like to find out. Now, your birthday is July 21st. Now, the way we're going to do this segment is Mike is going to read two different birthday descriptions of two different days. One is yours, one is not. You are then going to tell us which one aligns with you more and which one you think is the correct one.
All right.
All right. So I should have prepared more. These are going to be blind. These are going to be blind reads. I'm just going to move the pages. One of them is going to be yours. I'm going to read two.
All right.
Here we go. Try as they may, those born on July 21 cannot stay out of trouble for very long. Okay, it's negative out of the gate. Somehow a storm is usually brewing around them, often one with tragic comic overtones, like a camouflage vest. Surprisingly enough, this can be equally true of quiet people born on this day. They seem to get caught up in exciting or unpredictable happenings, not of their own doing.
Uh-oh, he's got a gun.
A more flamboyant July 21 person is,
ding, 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 ding.
more likely to be at least partly responsible for stirring up such excitement.
Ah.
Opposing points of view are the specialty of those born on this day, and they often present them with biting wit. Not only are they fine debaters, but serve equally well as mediators, arbiters, and peacemakers, as their love of playing devil's advocate trains them in seeing both sides of an issue.
Okay.
Since they are well accustomed to conflict, they may be right at home in stressful situations with their firearm. I added that. In stressful situations that would easily upset others. Those born on this day have a fine sense of humor that usually sees them through. These people may be subject to great mood swings within themselves, yet can remain remarkably calm and unaffected by emotional disturbances in others. Nonetheless, explosive situations do attract them and hold their interest. All right, that's 2 of 4 paragraphs.
Okay.
Should I switch it up?
All negative. Yeah, now let's hear the other one.
I'm just going
All
to
right.
go with that one.
Huh?
He's already picking it.
I'm going to
Already?
I'm going to double down and take one card. That one. But yes,
Wow.
let's pick the second one.
Let's see.
Easy, July
There could be another set of negative things.
Okay, July 21. Those born on this day display an indomitable spirit that does not recognize defeat or boundaries. It's sort of like your vest, which is no surrender, even though the sleeves have surrendered. Their desire.
The camouflage vest allows the arms to be handcuffed that much easier while storming national buildings.
Although it's hard to see him with his hands behind his back. Their desire to go beyond, to surpass what has already been done in any given area is great. Yet they are patient enough to master the technical details of their craft, not being egotists or wild-eyed fame hunters. These people are their emotional energy is
If he's not a fame hunter, he may not have framed himself with 3 of his paintings for his Zoom call with us.
July 21, people are have emotional energy. Their emotional energy is very strong, and it is from the heart that those born on this day express themselves. They must beware, however, of overstepping certain boundaries. Even they must stop and pause before with respect. I kind of misread that. Okay, these people are not afraid to put it on the line. Their bravery and steadfastness under fire are outstanding qualities. But because they rarely back down from confrontations, they may often be at odds with the authorities or powers that be in their society. Furthermore, they are by nature risk takers and must be aware of succumbing to the temptation of pure thrill seeking for its own sake. At some point, they have to rein in their rebelliousness a bit. It can be a mistake to cramp this person's style. Their spirit is so dynamic that it will not be suppressed. To discipline a child born on this day or attempt to break his or her spirit will not succeed and most certainly will have bad consequences for all concerned. Rather, the understanding parent should nurture and guide the spirit to move in creative directions on its own momentum. A careful line must always be drawn between orders and advice, forcing and leading, making and allowing, telling and suggesting. All right.
Michael, how were you? Were you disciplined as a child, and how did you react to it?
I think I was kind of one of the last generations of that like latchkey-esque. We left at. My parents worked till 5 or 6. So during the school year, we were home a couple hours. But, during the summer, we ate breakfast and left. Came home like around when the street lights came on. If we weren't going to be home, we called for a payphone. The problem, so how are these broken down? Because in the book, is there 2 different July 21s? Because they kind of both play into it,
Yeah, you feel like you relate to both of them?
A little bit, but I'm still going to go with one. Now, was I disciplined as a kid, as you were asking? Yeah, I mean, I was. My dad was very frustrated with me as he would tell me exactly what I was about to do wrong. He would see the path that I was on. He would tell me what I was doing wrong, warn me about it. Then I would do it, and then I would get in trouble for it. And that continued on from about 14 to, when I moved out.
Yeah.
18, yeah.
15.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna go with choice number 1, and and what did we say the prize was? First of all, you're gonna get free tickets when I come to Minneapolis to perform.
Acme, baby, let's go.
Acme Comedy Club, or somewhere else. And what else? We're gonna mail him something. Let's mail him something too.
Yeah, don't you have one of your dumb mugs or something?
Yeah, I'll send you a dumb mug.
I like dumb mugs.
All right, good.
We should probably go back in here where I don't know what it was you were going to give, but I can give him stock tips. All right. It turns out he is correct.
No.
The first one was July 21st. Here's the crazy thing. I randomly picked another. I just went in the book, and now I can't find the other one I read about the discipline. I don't know. I think it was in fall or August.
Okay, good.
I'll find it later. But anyway, July 21st, man. So that was pretty accurate.
I dig it. I think this is this is cool. I like that.
All right, I'll read a little more now that we know it's your birthday.
All right.
Performers born on this day love the excitement of appearing in public. Look where you are right now, although this is a small public, and are essentially exhibitionists.
Uh-huh.
Now he's going to move away from it. Their performance stance is usually...
Isn't a camouflage outfit the opposite of exhibitionist?
What's that? Yeah, that's a good point. Very heady joke. I like it. All right, let's see here.
I should not look at the camo. I knew it. It's too easy.
See?
By the way, I love your stuff. Hold one up to the camera because you're kind of obscuring
thanks,
the
Greg.
view.
I appreciate that.
Put up your best one there.
Well, this one, this.
Oh, that's nice.
Boy. So this is a painting that say...
Wait, you have it sideways.
Lives matter. Okay.
Michael, you have it sideways by accident. I can't hear him now.
Oh, we can't hear you talking, but we
can't hear you talking, Chris.
We do see all your thin blue line paintings.
All right. Very nice. Yeah, that's a tortured soul. There's some anger underneath there, flames. There's a lot of colors. All right, Chris, we can't hear you anymore, but thank you for joining us. We're going to send you some prizes.
Well,
and,
tell him not. I'll just read the 2-sentence advice for his sign. He needs to know that. Can he hear us?
Can you?
Good stuff now.
Oh, now I can hear you.
All right. Here's the advice for you July 21 people. Try to get a handle on your propensity for risk-taking. Consider opposing arguments and points of view rather than rejecting them out of hand. Listen to your dad, Michael. Strengthen your center and learn how to reach it at will. As you grow older, make a gradual transition from the physical to the spiritual.
Yeah. Okay.
To be honest, that's insanely spot on. I mean,
nice.
And I'm not even, I mean, as far as the holistic and all that, I don't discredit it, but I'm definitely not a 100% believer, but that is weirdly spot on.
All right.
That's what I said. We're not into this stuff either at all.
That's why I thought it was cool. So.
We're here to change lives. We're here to give out stupid coffee mugs and change lives.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. I love you guys' show.
Oh, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for inviting me in.
Appreciate it. All right. We'll see you soon.
Go get some sleeves. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Now let's go to...
I'm telling you, this book.
It's dead on. It really is incredible. You're like a Wiccan.
Okay.
All right, let's get to entertainment, Mike.
Here it is.
All right. Do we have... let's get straight to it. The Oscars are tonight, so we thought we'd go through and very quickly give our picks so that we can show you next week who knows entertainment better.
All right.
Now, what's going on with the locations and everything?
I really haven't, keep in mind, I've worked on 2 Oscars. You'd think, and normally I'm very interested in like how they do it, what hosts, what non-host, whatever it is. I have no idea. Based on my interest level, this will have to be, if I'm a reflection of the country, clearly I am, this would have to be the lowest rated Oscars of all time.
Well, all of the award shows are like down 40 or 50%. And I know the ad sales for the Oscars are like, they're getting half as much money for a 30-second ad as they usually do.
Right.
So.
All right. So I think, it's going to be in the Kodak. It's also going to be in Union Station, which is gorgeous in downtown LA. Very un-LA structure with real history and Spanish influenced architecture and design. Somehow it's going to be there also.
And Steven Soderbergh is going to direct it.
Yeah, although I saw another director, but maybe it needs multiple directors
Well, I
because
think
of the
they're doing.
locations.
Yeah, they're doing one in New York as well. I believe we should have
But
really looked
he's,
into this
you
more.
know, Soderbergh's amazing, so
Yeah.
I'm interested. You know, so I'm going to be in Seattle, but I'll probably watch it. I
will
guess
be on stage in Brea, telling jokes.
they're not into it.
All right, so
okay.
let's start. We're Best Picture: The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of the Chicago 7. What do you pick?
8 of them, huh? Okay, I'll tell you my favorites. Did I see all of them?
Jesus Christ. Are you going to drag this out?
I saw all of them, which is remarkable.
yeah.
Of course, if I say The Father, I sound like White McWhiterson. I did not like Mank. I think I like Judas and the Black Messiah, Nomadland and The Father, and Minari. I don't know. Trial of Chicago 7 won't do it. Sound of Metal I liked. I guess I'm going to go with Nomadland as a prediction.
All right. Same with me. I'm going with Nomadland. I think everybody should see Sound of Metal. It's really great. I think that Sacha Baron Cohen, who I consider one of the comedy geniuses of our generation, sucks in the Trial of Chicago 7.
Why try a Boston accent? Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Best Director.
As a writer, I'd say you'd think I'd say Mank, but as a writer, I thought The Father was the most inventive.
All right, so I guess we'll get to that when we get to writing.
Oh,
Director.
I don't know if it's nominated. Because it was a play, by the way, so maybe adapted.
Adapted screenplay.
But I'm giving the credit to the playwright. Like, in other
it's
words,
not. It's actually not nominated.
No, for
Interesting.
adapted?
No.
See? But the
Director,
playwright deserves
Lee
all the credit.
Isaac Chung for Minari, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young
Promising
Woman.
Young Woman I thought was garbage, and whatever. A lot of people hate when I say that. Its tone was so off. I'm like, is it trying to be funny now? It was awful.
Yeah, it was all over the place, but her performance was fantastic. I'll give her that.
Okay.
Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, David Fincher for Mank, Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, or Chloe Zhao for No Man Land.
That's amazing. So I pick up my daughter last night. She goes, "Hey, friends told me about Another Round." I'm like, "What?" She said, "We started watching it. It seems so cool. Foreign film, and it's about this. I don't know. Really, it's about a group that that tries to keep their blood alcohol above 0.05 or something." That's how little I know, which I love. That's how I'm going to go in. But I might watch that tonight. That's called
Okay.
Another Round, and holy shit, it's in the Best Director for. I can't believe it made it in that category, not just relegated to the foreign language film category.
So that's 3 foreign-born directors nominated.
Yes, at least. I don't know about the other ones, but okay. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go with Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
Same.
Okay. So we're the same. I, by the way, want to point out, I think this will be a very predictable Oscars. Just because people have seen so few of them, so the ones that have popped have become that much more prominent.
Okay.
Actor, Best Actor,
Yes.
Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, Stephen Yeun for Minari.
They were all good, which I don't think I've ever said about a whole category. Well, maybe I have, but you're going with Chadwick?
I'm going with, how'd you know that? Yeah, I'm going with Chadwick.
Because I have a Google Doc and I saw you fucking put your G next to it. Yeah, I mean, if I guess I'm trying to compete with you, I'm going to go with Chadwick.
Oh, you're such an asshole. I'm going to stop writing my initials down before I say it.
Hopkins was pretty good.
Has he won? He's won Oscars, right? I'm sure he won an Oscar
He's
for
only
Silence of the
won
Lambs.
one. He's won one for Silence of the Lambs.
So he may be due for another one, and it is a real acting role. It's it's clearly an Oscar bait performance.
He's pushed very hard for it, which I don't like. But I don't know. I'm tempted by Stephen Yeun, but I'm going to go with Chadwick. Chadwick
right.
was good. I did not like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but he was good.
Best Actress, we got Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day for United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman.
I'm going to go Viola Davis.
Wow, strong.
Man, it wins the 2 top categories. You're going with Carey Mulligan?
I'm going with Carey Mulligan.
Oh, boy.
I really thought she was amazing in that. I thought, and the movie was very heavy-handed. It was like, all right, let's start with a message and then write a movie around it.
Well, I can't even. Yeah, it was very, very spotty. It seemed like it had 4 writers.
All right, supporting actor Sacha Baron Cohen somehow nominated for Trial of the Chicago 7. I don't understand that.
Why not for Borat? He's flawless in that.
I know. Because comedies don't get any respect.
Oh,
Daniel
boy.
Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
That's a comedy to some people.
Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami, Paul Raci, Sound of Metal, and Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah.
One Night in Miami was so claustrophobic and like kind of like a college essay contest winner. Like, what if they were? We see how they all went in history. What if it was one night that like almost Picasso at the whatever? Remember that play? Wasn't that Paul the comedian? I'm all over the place. But Picasso at the Grand Lagevin, whatever the fuck it was. It's like a made up night.
Right.
Woody Allen did one too about Forgetting Paris or something.
Forgetting Paris, but yeah, but that
I don't think it was Forgetting Paris, but whatever it was.
Yeah, the one where it was sort of like Hemingway's Table and
with Picasso added. So
yeah.
It's one of those things. But Jesus Christ, man, Leslie Odom Jr. is the real deal.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Kaluuya.
I'm going to also go with him. Even though I would love Paul Raci to win, I think that it's going to be Daniel Kaluuya because he's on a roll. Best Supporting Actress.
Wait, are you referring to Riz Ahmed and Paul Raci in Sound of Metal? Who was he?
Oh, you didn't see Sound of Metal?
No, I did, but was he the old guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
He's kind of unknown, and he's kind of like you haven't seen him before, but he was
good. But
I think that was Doug Benson's pick.
It's a small role, though, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Maria Bakalova from Borat, Glenn Close from Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Coleman from The Father, Amanda Seyfried from Mank, and Yoo Jung-yoon from Minari. Did you see Minari, by the way? What a great film.
I did. I saw the week after the Asian killings, which I'll just call it that, in Atlanta. This was a little close. I mean, this is about an Asian family moving to Arkansas and trying to make it. I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to lose this one. I was so captivated by Olivia Coleman, just her face, even her silent acting. I just couldn't believe how good it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to go Olivia Coleman. I know she's not going to win, though.
Do you realize, and Doug pointed this out, that Glenn Close has never won an Oscar? She's been nominated like 7 or 8 times.
If you haven't seen, if you're looking for something to binge, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I've run out of things to binge, I challenge you to try to watch one episode, the first episode of Damages, without watching all of it.
Okay.
She's in it. You've never seen Damages?
Was it originally on USA?
I don't know. It was something like that, though. It was like commercial TV, I believe. But oh man, I cannot recall a single name today. But from Bridesmaids, the Irish actress, she's in it really young.
Okay.
And Glenn Close is a powerhouse in it. Rose McGowan? Is that who I'm trying to think of? Anyway, you should see, Glenn Close
Chris
is
Denman
great.
must be taking a shit again.
Totally. Rose Byrne.
Rose Byrne? Okay.
She's in it. But
all right, so we got you down for
Olivia Coleman.
Olivia Coleman. Okay. Original screenplay, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Did you say you're going with Yoon from Minari?
Yeah. The old lady. Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of the Chicago 7. Best Original Screenplay, Mike Gibbons. I'll go first this time. I'm going to say Original Screenplay. I'm going to go with... I didn't like the screenplay, but it's going to win Promising Young Woman.
You're the worst.
Yep.
Okay, this is how Hollywood thinks. You're gonna call me a racist. Honestly, this is the question I would ask. Did voting close on this category before or after the killings in Atlanta?
Probably before.
If it closed before, I'm going with Judas and the Black Messiah. If it closed after, I'm going with Minari. In fact, I don't believe you know when the voting closed, so I'm going to go with Minari.
Okay. Mike's going with Minari.
Because that
I think that's a good call. That's a good call.
You know how often I nail all these things because it's the most reactive, overcompensating group of fucking morons
Can I
in
point
Hollywood
out,
who vote.
When I worked at Ellen, I think this is before you were there, we had a office-wide pool for the Oscars. And there was, 75, 100 people working there. And I won. I fucking won. And it was like $20 a head. I won a couple grand. Voting closed 4 days ago. Okay, so then Minari is...
Interesting.
Yeah, okay.
There's feces all over Chris's keyboard as he rushes to type that in. By the way, there's one movie that was famous for winning, and there was some sort of anonymous poll or whatever, and so few of the Academy saw it, but it was the politically correct vote.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to find out what it was, but that's so typical.
Well, that's like with Best Foreign Film. It's always the one that comes from... the most war-torn country at that time. Trumped only by a film about the Holocaust.
I will say, I think my vote would be for my personal favorite. I think Minari actually is. I did like Judas and the Black Messiah, but I think Minari was very original. It was
very original. It was very heartfelt. I loved the pacing of it.
Yeah.
Original screenplay, we just did. Adapted screenplay. Borat, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, or The White Tiger. I've never even heard of that one.
I want to see The White Tiger. It's about it's about race in another country, and it's about a driver who is from a lower class. That's what I get from the images I see. By the way, The Father is in here.
Wait, how is Borat an adapted screenplay? What's it adapted from?
Oh, interesting.
That's weird.
Is it because... Yeah, what the hell's that?
Huh. All right, what's your pick for screenplay?
I don't know. I'm trying to decide between... I don't know how much they did with The Father from the play. I really wish I had seen The Father, the play. Apparently, it was just amazing. I'm going to go Nomadland.
Me too.
Yeah.
Documentary, here we go. I've seen 2 of these. Collective. Oh, maybe I saw Collective. Crip Camp, The Mole Agent, and My Octopus Teacher, and Time. And I saw Time as well. I saw 4 of these.
What's Time about?
Time is about a man who is... It's a young black couple that starts their own store, and it's floundering, and so the man robs a bank and gets sent to jail, but it's an extremely long sentence. And he's in jail for he's got a 30-year sentence. And so it's about this woman's fight to try to appeal his case. And it's not big on story, but it captures just this beautifully strong woman who is raising her kids, does a great job raising her kids, and she's a pillar of the community, and it's kind of about her spirit.
Huh. Is the movie longer or shorter than your description? I'm going to say I've seen 1. It's My Octopus Teacher. I don't think... I really liked it. I don't think... I'm going to go with Crip Camp.
Crip Camp is going to be...
I haven't seen it.
Crip Camp was amazing.
That's what I've heard.
I'm torn between that and The Octopus Teacher. People really love The Octopus Teacher.
You saw it?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Yeah. I'm going to go with that.
I was like, there's no way this is going to hold me for an hour and a half or whatever it was, and it did.
I was just amazed that guy, that South African guy, would dive into the water. Do you have any idea how cold the water is in South Africa? It is like I was in South Africa a couple times. I put my foot in the water and I had shooting pains going up my leg. And this guy would dive in every day with no wetsuit for like an hour.
Well, they say it gets easier and easier. That's one of everyone does these cold plunges in the morning and stuff. I couldn't do it. I remember thinking once, this is what a pussy I am. I remember thinking like, all right, I'm a prisoner of war. They caught me. My plane went down or whatever. Oh, yeah, you're going to put me up against a box spring and run electricity through it? Bring it on. Like, I could take those charges. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? You're the big, like, honestly, if you were you're like, we're going to get information out of you, I'd be cuffed. I'd be like, okay, good luck. And they took me in a room and it was just a bed frame, a wooden heavy bed frame. And they were like, go stub your toe. I'm like, what do you want to know? I'd be like, yeah, no, here's the sequence to the nukes. They're all in Oklahoma. What else? I won't even do it. I won't even do it the first time. Never mind. You're going to have me do it 100 times till my toes are broken. And the same thing with like, I'm handcuffed.
Is that really your vision of what torture is? Telling somebody to walk into a bed frame?
But that's all it would take. In other words, you don't have to hook a battery up to my nipples or my genitals or like take off my fingernails or even way more heinous stuff.
When I was a kid and I would go to the dentist and they would be drilling a cavity, I would... To put up with the pain, I would have this fantasy that I was a soldier and they were trying to get information and I would not want to sell out my country. And so I would put up with the pain. And do you know what the really funny thing is?
That you would say, fuck you, and then an Asian expletive to your dentist over and over and over again.
No. The funny thing is, I still do it. I still do it. It's like this weird fantasy that lets me take the pain.
What's weird is you sign up for that once or twice a year.
And I wear a camouflage vest when I show up.
So here's another one. I'm handcuffed. I'm like, you're going to get fucking nothing out of me. You fucking Ruskies, whatever that, whoever's caught me. You Krauts, you get nothing out of me. And then all of a sudden they walk me into a bathroom and I hear water running. I'm like, oh, waterboarding? You think that's going to work with me? Do you know how long I can hold my breath? Also, I know you're not really drowning me. I'm like, no, just get in there. It's a cold shower. I'm like, what? What do you want to know?
What am I, Anthony Robbins? Fuck you. What do you want to know? Let me get out my diary.
Wait, can't you just hold me upside down and fucking run the shower in my face? At least my adrenaline. You want me to just gingerly step into a freezing shower? I'll tell you anything you want.
All right, we're going to skip original song.
Which means script camp. All right.
Then we're going to go to cinematography. I would say easily it's going to be Nomadland.
I'd say easily. I don't know. Oh, News of the World though. Will all these cowards feel obligated to give Tom Hanks some nod with News of the World?
Maybe. They love him. Also, Mank was actually very well shot. It was beautiful, but
ooh,
you don't know.
I'm gonna go. Nomadland was so meditative, though. I'm gonna go with Mank. You talked me into it.
All right, I think I've got this locked up. All right, now, best international feature film: Another Round, Better Days, Collective, The Man Who Sold His Skin, and Quo Vadis Aida.
That one? Listen, we don't have to vote on this. The only reason I told you to put it back in was because I didn't think Another Round was in another category. But I've been told Another Round by my daughter who's seen most of it. That's the review. She didn't get to finish the movie, but I heard it's very interesting. So we're just put that in there to say everyone should try to see Another Round.
Gee, I'm really glad we kept that section in because that was compelling, Mike. Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't have remembered it otherwise.
All right, here's the part we got to figure out. What does the winner get from the loser? Should we say lunch at Penmar?
Let's do lunch at Penmar.
Lunch at Penmar. Okay. Let's get to Florida, man.
All right, we've talked about this way too much today. But Florida, you know what? Should we skip the transgender?
Let's skip it and just do the Lindsay one.
Okay. But I do want to say this. This was interesting. There's a Fairness in Women's Sports Act, and it bans transgender female athletes from competing on women's athletic teams in both high school and college sports. So that would be your Caitlyn Jenner example, right? This is your homework assignment. Everybody think about this. This is the interesting part of the sentence. Although transgender male athletes may still compete on either team. So that is a cis female transitioning to a male. They're kind of like, yeah, knock yourself out. Go strap on your cleats and put a football helmet on. No issue.
Right.
That's what that says. So, all right,
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan's father has been arrested for alleged. Well, this was your story. Why don't you follow the Lohans still every day?
Arrested for alleged, quote, patient brokering, meaning he is accused of bringing addicts to drug treatment centers. Just imagine this. Lindsay Lohan, one of the biggest stars in the world, and her fucking dad is dragging addicts to drug treatment centers in Florida in exchange for illegal kickbacks. He's 60, was booked Friday, and is the latest in more than 100 people arrested as part of a Palm Beach County probe of the treatment industry. He faces 5 counts of patient brokering and 1 count of attempted patient brokering. The documents include references to checks worth over $25,000 paid to Lohan in the original scheme. And I've read about Florida has become this cottage industry.
Are there addicts in Florida? I didn't know that.
It's where you go when you're addicted, and if you're from there, it's where you get addicted. And people go down there and they set up these they just buy a house with as many bedrooms as they can get, and then they get certified in a day to be a drug treatment facility, and then Medicare pays you, $10,000 a month for every person that you put in the house. It has so few specifications about what drug treatment you actually give them, and they milk it by running tests on them. These extremely expensive tests about addiction,
Yeah.
and they get paid off on each of those. So I mean, talk about the lowest of the low. This guy Michael Lohan. He's like he's Joey Buttafuoco. Long Island produces some of the biggest fucking douchebags. They are a gateway to Florida, Long Island.
An attempted patient brokering. That's interesting. Maybe trying to get his addict daughter in one of them.
Right.
Maybe the attempted patient brokering is, okay, first I have to get you addicted to something. Then I'm going to set you up, man.
It's like the Steve Martin joke. I've been doing a lot of work with unwed mothers, just helping them get their start.
I never heard that. That's great. Yeah, Lohan. Wow. I mean, yeah, his daughter, I believe, has gone through multiple. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Rehabs, and so, boy, how furious. If she has her head on straight now, which I don't know she does, you know about programs and addiction. It's like, you know all the rules of how vulnerable these people are. There's rules set up like, don't even date someone here because that's how vulnerable you are.
Right.
And then you're going to be moved around and your interest is the last one being considered.
Yeah.
It's really, she must, as an addict, she must really be infuriated, I imagine.
Yeah, she's kind of got her shit somewhat together. She's got a reality show. It's kind of a Tarja reality show. I forget what it's about.
Didn't she open like a club in Mykonos or something?
Yeah, I think it's about running this nightclub. I forget. But, boy, I thought she was dead. She seemed like she was going to die.
Maybe, listen, America, everyone does, but America especially loves a comeback. Maybe, and she can act.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a comeback. I don't know.
Absolutely. She could just become one of those people that's just famous, who just does things and makes money with branding and social media and whatever else.
All right, I'm going to call it This Wins Best Documentary in 2025. This story.
You got it. Let's skip down. Let's skip all the way down to business. Where Bitcoin in 1 week went to from 60,000 down to 50,000.
Yikes.
Yep. So some people see it as a buying opportunity. Other people see it as there's new players in the space, and that perhaps, like many technologies, one company comes in and they break new ground and they introduce the technology, and then other ones come in that are better and end up being the industry leaders.
But also, wasn't there whispers about Biden floating the idea of taxing
and regulating?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Going to our Investopedia contest.
Oh, God.
Nick Allen still leading. He is at, what's he at now? He's down $20,000. He's down 10% this past week, down to $200,000. So he has doubled the $100,000 he started with. And we have a new loser.
Me?
No.
Oh, geez. Look at my chart. Holy shit. I'm down to 94,775.
Oh,
what's my
shit.
rank?
94.
I'm 284. I'm hanging
284 out of 370. That's good.
Yeah. How are other people doing worse?
New loser, Haunted J, is down to $20,000. I really believe Haunted J and Nick Allen are trying to lose money, which, by the way, you can make money by being good at losing money. You can short. If you're shorting everything. And your lovely daughter, Olivia, is in 17th place. She's at $112,000. Why don't you let her handle the money in the house?
What an idiot. Just optimistic. It's going to go up.
Which has been right for 15 years?
Talk about it. Oh, yeah, no, everything's sound, by the way. I'm sure India isn't a financial player on the globe. Everything's set, guys. Hey, by the way, all the companies, every week people are going to be like, oh, my God, that movie chain went out of business? Wait a minute. What? That went out of business? Yeah, why would it go out of business? Everything's doing so fucking great.
Yeah, I know.
The can has been kicked down the road. It can only be kicked so far. They were hoping this was the end of this pandemic. It's fucking far from the end of the pandemic.
Yeah, and the third wave could be coming, folks. Not to be a naysayer, but we're open. People are opening up. It's spring, which helps, but also everything's being loosened up, and we'll see. We'll see.
Wait till next flu season when you realize, oh my God, this is just a vaccine like the flu vaccine. Mm-hmm. But it's not foolproof. Whatever. Go ahead. Short the market. Go ahead.
Let's do Ask Amy.
Okay. This is a short one. I don't even have any. I didn't even really look at it. I just pasted it in there. But here we go. Dear Amy, when asked if you like the new dish that someone has served you, how can you say no politely? If I am not honest, I might be served this dish again and again. Does it matter if the person asking is extended family member or friend? Signed, am I rude?
Well, you're not Irish because there's no such thing as a bad dish. You bring food to my house, I fucking thank you, and I eat that shit. I don't care. How bad can it be?
Yeah, also, I'm not one of those people. It's so hard to offend me or offend my taste buds with a dish.
Yeah.
You take less of it. You just
take less. Up. If she's bringing a dish, have a bite, feed some to the dog, and move on. Don't be fucking rude. I mean, the person knocked themselves. If you made a dish and brought it to a house, you believe it's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, they could have hosted also. Same thing.
You sometimes bring stuff over, but it's usually just shit you bought at Costco. It's rare that you prepare something.
Right. And it's foolproof, dude.
That's right. And there's lots of it.
I had a big quinoa, my colorful
No, you bring
salads.
You bring salads.
I'm pretty good at those.
Yeah.
Not great at sounding like a sort of straight aggro male when I brag about my salads, but nevertheless, they kind of kill it, man.
Yeah. Letters to the editor.
Oh, yeah, wait, there's a paper. There we go.
Okay, Joanne, I seem to really have a crush on these guys.
Well,
Hey now.
it's still in the scene category, but okay, we'll accept it.
Did we ever talk about hooking you and Joe? You're single. We can hook you up with Joanne at some point. You think it would be too much pressure?
I tend not to date women that have a crush on you also.
Right.
It's a little rule I have.
Right.
When I brag about storming the Capitol on the dating apps.
We never dated the same woman, did we?
No.
You've pretty
sounds
much
like such a bro thing to say.
You've always been in long-term relationships. Like you're a serial monogamist.
If you like labels, I guess you could say that.
Not lately, though.
Yeah, well, there was one monogamous relationship. It was called marriage. That lasted a while. That was 14 years.
14 years. So you can say that was a successful marriage. People always say that it failed, but no. You had 14 years. You raised 2 kids. You raised 2 great kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and so she got in a very suspicious car accident. That ended it. It's fine. And the one before that fell down a staircase with an owl attached to her head.
I've been saying on stage, I've been going on stage and saying, so I've been married 21 years. And then there's always like a big round of applause. And I go, 3 different wives, total of 21 years.
We think alike. I did one I'm talking like a stand-up. But when you let me do stand-up, I did one which was like, I go, the topic of marriage comes up. And I'm like, actually, what's today? It's June. I was like, wow, it's 15 years. 15 years ago, been married and never been happier. And huge applause. But I'm like, oh, I got divorced in 2014. I left that out. That's why I've never been happier. They're all like, oh, geez.
Boyd Bull says, "Hey Fitz, heard you Sunday mention that you use a baseball bat for protection. A lot of the time, people get beat with their own bat. Make sure you put a sock on the end of that thing, so if the perp tries to grab it from you, it'll slip out of his hand."
So that is one of the disturbing details. Like the guy I told you I know was like, yeah, dude, watch it with that gun because, you shoot someone on your front porch or if they're trying to get in, you get in a lot of trouble. He's like, dude, everyone knows you have to drag them in the house after you shoot them. It's like these people have thought it through.
Yeah.
That's a genius move with the sock.
Right. Yeah, there's a whole training that my nephew did about home invasion. Was it my nephew? Somebody told me they got a gun and you go into the desert.
Are you going to tell the BB gun story again with your nephew?
Let's go on to this next one.
By the way, but how many socks do you need on the bat? You only get one try?
Right.
In other words, I guess you're just going to beat a guy to death who's holding a sock. That's the goal.
I'm also thinking, I'm hoping to hit the guy hard enough that a sock would slip off the end of it.
Or stick in his skull bones somehow.
Right.
All right.
All right, this week, this is from Damon. This week you talked about how it's comforting to remind yourself that you are going to die. And I know that sounds dark, but he said in Bhutan, happiest country in the world, they say contemplating death 5 times a day brings happiness. There's even an iPhone app I enjoy called We Croak that will send you a reminder 5 times a day that you're going to die. No, but seriously, every time I'm stressed out about something that's about to happen that I don't have control over, I just stop and I go, I'm going to fucking die. I don't
What's think the big that deal? Always works. Like you feel a lump and you're all worried and then ding, it's like, you're going to die. Well, that's not good timing.
Yeah, right. You feel a little chest pain while you're walking down the street.
Ding.
Yeah. Well, how do you want to die?
I don't know. apparently Alzheimer's, according to the father, is not an easy way out.
Oh, that would be the worst. Alzheimer's would be the worst.
I guess eventually you're, unaware and blissful, but you're pretty angry going through that transition.
Right.
So, and frustrated. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to die. I don't know.
I have a feeling I'm going to die in a car crash. I just have this vision of a car crash and me dying. Although it's pretty hard to die in a car these days with the airbags.
Maybe not your Prius.
Yeah.
That could be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Boy, I was driving last night. I picked up Olivia. We were on the 10. Dude, 3 cars. And thankfully you could hear them coming like the Mustang or like some jacked up Subaru. Like people are, LA is waking up. Like you've seen it. Like then we drove down Main Street and people are everywhere. But people are out there like they haven't been for a year.
Yeah.
And man, when I say this car was weaving in and out, it was like a video game to this dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Olivia was like, I'm never going on the freeway after 10 p.m. Like, it was crazy.
Dude, do you remember the West Side Highway? The people that would come in from New Jersey and drive up the West Side Highway, and they would go 120 miles an hour on a windy 3-lane road.
Narrow.
It was crazy, and it was always like a Honda with fucking mud flaps and tinted windows and fat wheels that they put some kind of a Corvette engine into.
I'm very at the moment against Mustangs and Chargers, and I can't decide who's a bigger douchebag.
No, Mustang drivers are cool.
Old ones maybe. I don't think the new ones.
I don't know. I may get one.
Oh God.
Finally, Dave G says, even though I agree with the point made that Jewish people don't tend to be known for the murdering, a couple...
They're killing it in media.
A couple notables who did come to mind, and I figured it'd give me an excuse to chime in. Not sure if the son of Sam would be considered an assassin, but David Berkowitz was a Jewish killer.
That's pretty valid, I have to say.
Plus, Jack Ruby was a Jew.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess some people just want to make sure the Jews are included. If there's gonna be some bad press.
Sorry to leave them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Ruby, I guess. I mean, Berkowitz is impressive.
Yeah, that was in, as a matter of fact, it's the area of the Bronx that I was born in, that my mother is from, called Throgs Neck. That's where the Son of Sam killings all happened.
Well, I mean, it was all of New York was afraid.
Yeah.
It was like the Sacramento, like the Golden State Killer or whatever his name is. Like, it was, and this is new. This is the tri-state area. One of the biggest cities in the world. Send in your corrections. And it was all anyone was talking about.
And, Spike Lee did a really good movie about it, actually.
What was that? Do the Right Thing?
No, I think was it called Son of Sam? It was called Summer of Sam, I think.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah. And I don't always love his stuff. I'll go see any Spike Lee movie because he always goes for it. He's a fucking interesting filmmaker. Sometimes he doesn't hit, but when he does, it's really great. Let's do an obituary.
And that's all, folks.
There you go.
Sad news. Les McCown, who was joined the Bay City Rollers in 1973 when he was a teenager. He was 17 years old. He was a fucking worldwide phenomenon. Several years after the Pac rock band was formed and they were beginning to break through, they released their debut album Rollin' and began having hits. Playing up their Scottishness by wearing tartan-trimmed outfits, the Rollers began crossing over to U.S. success with Saturday Night. Saturday Night.
There it is.
S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y. Night.
The front desk better have been called just now, complaining about your room in that hotel.
It hit number 1 in 1975. They followed it with Money Honey and I Only Wanna Be With You.
Oh, that's them?
Yep. And he left the band in 78 when the success was waning. That's what you do, baby. Fucking dismount. So anyway, I just thought this was great because when I was 10, which would have been when they were big, there was a girl named Cindy Vieira and Lourdes Garrido. They were Portuguese chicks in Tarrytown, and they were super hot, even at 10. And me and my friend Josh Barker were trying to get in with them, but they paid us no mind. But then we found out they were going to the Bay City Rollers concert down in the city. I can't remember which venue it was. And so we bought tickets. It was my first concert, and we went there to try to get Cindy and Lourdes. And we got there, and they were fucking screaming. They had tears. They were crying. They had the big thing was you would bring a plaid scarf, like a wool scarf, and you would wave it back and forth. And we fucking brought scarves. We bought fucking scarves, and we waved them, just trying to get some fucking 10-year-old to like us.
We might be talking about the same summer as Summer of Sam. I'm not even kidding you. But they were huge. So that, I want to amend my statement. All anyone was talking about was the Bay City Rollers and Berkowitz.
People hated the Bay City Rollers. And it's pretty humiliating when I talk to people and that question always comes up, what was your first concert? And one person's like, oh yeah, I saw the fucking Doobie Brothers, or I saw, Grand Funk Railroad or something. And I got to say the Bay City Rollers.
Well, you're, I think, probably most jealous of my first concert, which was Madison Square Garden, the Kinks.
No.
Yeah.
How old were you?
48. No, it was eighth or ninth grade.
Yeah. Kinks used to play out a lot. We used to see the Kinks all the time because remember the Westchester Premier Theater was in Tarrytown. It was like a 3,000 seat theater, and they would get big bands. And Allman Brothers would play there once a year. Kinks would play there once a year. Who else did I see?
I'm forgetting what song they had. They had a hit, which explains Madison Square Garden. They had come out with an album. So it's probably the Kinks' last hit, and it was a huge show. Just everyone singing along to Lola, like it was amazing.
Wow, yeah, they were great, and they didn't do full songs in concert. The Kinks always did. What do you call it when you go from part of a song to part of a song?
Like a medley.
A medley. They used to do medleys.
Huh.
Yeah.
And they were the original, in a way, their original Oasis in that. Two brothers in a band fighting fucking constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
Let's get to it. The funnies. Here's how we wrap it up. Let's start with our friends.
Did we cover that the Bay City Rollers guy died?
He died. I don't know how he died. He was 65. He's dead.
All right, wait. Funnies. Did you put any funnies in here?
No, because somehow, I tried to drag and drop them into the doc, and it wasn't accepting it. So I'm gonna describe it to you, and you'll just have to.
Oh my God! Well, you know what that looks like to me on this side. There's one funny in here, which is the Family Circus, which I pasted in, and I am gonna propose we don't even look at Family Circus anymore.
Really.
We're not cherry picking bad ones. All right, we'll get to it in a minute.
All right. Start with the Lockhorns, who I always love. Leroy and Loretta. They're at marriage counseling. They try, but you know what? They fucking hate each other.
They're at marriage counseling. Okay.
Leroy fucking hates Loretta, but somehow they try. So she's talking to the shrink, and she goes, Leroy still holds the door for me, but only when I'm leaving.
These are tight jokes.
I know. They're fucking great. Wait, hold on. There's another one. All right. This one is Leroy is looking. He's just come in the door. He's still got his briefcase in his hand. He's wearing his suit. And Loretta is fucking scowling at him as he looks into a pot that she's cooking. And he goes, leftovers? So it's true. Criminals do return to the scene of a crime.
Okay.
He hates her. He fucking hates her. All right, let's do I pulled up a Kathy just because I always forget how much I hate this cartoon. It's just about this sad middle-aged woman who lives with her mother and is just everything a woman should know. You think about your daughter reading the cartoons and Kathy is some kind of role model.
I always picture Kathy as a teenager. So she's a middle-aged woman?
She ages. She's one of the few cartoons that ages through the series of the cartoon. I guess she's in her 20s in this one. Maybe she's in her 20s. I didn't know she was that old. Okay. Yeah, she's in her 20s. So she says, my friends all hurry home from work to be with their husbands. They plan every day around spending time with their children. It makes me feel it's time to make some big changes in my own, Mom. I think I'm finally ready to make a commitment. And the mother bursts. She goes, oh, sweetie, you mean you're... And Kathy goes, I'm going to get a dog. Mom collapses. Mom, go away. I want to be alone with my happiness.
Boy, that's dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm shocked it's not a cat, but okay.
All right, let's do some come on, let's do some Family Circus. You can do it.
I don't even understand. So this little fucker, I was like, did he dye his hair?
Oh, look at that. He's got dark hair.
No, but then what I guess I'm deducing here is this is a neighbor kid that has the same shitty body type as her
Oh,
kids.
my God. This fucking lazy Jeff Keane. He just cut and pasted dark hair on Billy.
Whoever it is, yeah. So this kid is pulled up on a tricycle. He's old for a tricycle, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
And the mom has opened the door and is looking down at him and says to the little boy who's standing on the stoop looking up, she says, the boys are out with their dad and Dolly is having lunch. And so written underneath is the boy's response, which is, okay, then do you want to ride bikes?
Aw.
Well, but what's awe? Awe like, I wish I had that time back? Or like, awe, something's wrong with Jeff and or Bill Keane and they need help. Like that's what the awe would be.
I think the awe was, why didn't we get into the cartoon business 30 years ago? Think about how good we'd be at golf. Think about how fat we'd be from eating out every day on these fat checks.
But it's called a job because there's work to do. So let's say you put that in the mom's mouth. The boys are out with their dad and Dolly's having lunch. That's when you kind of scratch your head and you sit there for a few minutes, maybe longer, till you get the answer. Like you get a funny response.
Yeah.
No work. There's just no work done.
No, whenever you hear people talk about comedians, the definition is always, they're people that see life through a different lens. Jeff Keane has the same lens as everybody else.
I think he has the lens of a fat, dyed-haired kid who would then say, all right, do you want to ride bikes? And that's just what it is.
And the laziness. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should, because you have to see this fucking kid who is Billy. He looks like he's wearing a wig.
Yeah.
Lazy.
All right. I mean,
All right.
I don't know. I'll look at it each week, but maybe I should find another funny or whatever. These are the funnies, right?
All right, here's Blondie, and it's a little bit of a throwback Blondie. She's sitting with the family, which is very, very rare. You almost never see the kids in Blondie. I don't know why they never included them.
I don't know if I've ever seen them.
Very rarely.
With that figure, I didn't know they had kids.
I know. She protects it. So they're sitting at the dinner table, and Dagwood says, gee, that was a wonderful dinner, Blondie. Daughter goes, yeah, Mama. Everything was delicious. Son goes, great dinner, Mom. Then Blondie goes, I'm glad everybody liked it. Now, who will help me with the dishes? Fucking table empties. And she goes, now you see him, now you don't. How about you leave, Blondie? How about you pack your fucking stuff and you go find a man who treats you with dignity, and when your kids want custody on the weekends, tell them to go do some fucking dishes. How about that?
That's a good fix. I like that.
It's just, how much longer can she put up with this shit? It's like, it's not only from Dagwood. He's setting an example for the kids that you can be a lazy fucking bore who doesn't appreciate not only the hottest wife in the newspaper, but the greatest mom. She actually went into catering later in her life because she's so good at cooking. And these fucking maggots, they leave the table. Unbelievable.
You know the backstory and everything.
Yep.
Poor Blondie.
I know.
Right?
Anyway. All right, Mike, listen. It's a great
Boy,
time. I'm in
geez,
Philly.
We were supposed to do a short one again.
We did exactly 2 hours. To the second, we did 2 hours.
I don't know. We were talking about doing a short one for a few minutes at the beginning. I don't know if we did 2 hours. We rambled before you started screaming.
Before we started the show, we were talking for a little while.
We did less than 2 hours.
All right, so listen, enjoy LA. I'll be back there tomorrow. And enjoy the Oscars, everybody. We'll check out our picks for next week. See who's taking who to the golf course for lunch.
Yep,
and
I'm going to enjoy Seattle. I think that's what you meant.
Have fun, man. Enjoy Seattle.
I'm psyched.
Have a blast, and
good
hopefully
luck in Philly. I hope you have a good show tonight.
Yeah, a couple shows, and then I'm back. Okay, thanks as always to also thank you to Michael Mcdonald, who called in on the show, who I think was a big hit.
He seemed like a good guy.
We'll have to decide. You guys reach out. Let us know if you like the new segment. Maybe we'll do it again.
Don't forget to send him a mug.
And we're going to send him a mug. I got to get his address. All right. Well, thanks to Midcoast Media, Chris Denman, and Beth Hoops, who do an outstanding job. Don't forget, support the podcast by going to Sunday. Here's how you get $20 off your first month. You go to getsunday.com/papers. $20 off your custom plan. Do it. All right, we'll see you next week, Mike.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
It's a motherfucking Sunday. Motherfucking paper.